All right, well, it's that fun time of year again. It's time for the 2021 gifts photographers will love. All right, everyone, happy holidays. Welcome to this special approach in the scene. Hudson here. Every year I do a little gift guide for photographers, and I try to highlight gifts from really affordable stocking stuffers up to some of those things that people really dream about getting under their tree or as part of their Hanukkah gifting, or however you happen to celebrate the holidays. So today I'm going to jump in. If you're interested in the whole list, I've got a list, table of contents talking about each and everything that I talk about that you can click show more or the video's titled to go into the full video description. There are links there to all the stuff that I'm talking about. I'll also put it up at the top of my gear list that I put up constantly of all the stuff that I use at hudsonhenry.com/ATS-links. So you can jump around. You'll look at the bottom of this timeline as the video is playing, and you'll see, you can run along it and see the different things that I'm talking about. So I'm going to jump in. I'm going to run through. I got a whole bunch of fun stuff to share, some perennial favorites as well as some new things. And I really want to it cracks me up. I had a number of people email me or come in the YouTube comments saying, where's the gift guide? So let's just jump to it. Oh, one quick thing. Going to have office hours December 7th, 10 a.m. Pacific. You can join via Zoom. You can join via YouTube live. It's going to be a photo contest, a little something different. We're going to be giving away one of the things that we're talking about here in Unleashed. We're going to give away 3 of those, as well as some gift certificates to my store. I'll talk about that in the course of this video. You can find out more at hudsonhenry.com/office hours, hudsonhenry.com/office hours. You can sign up, you can submit an image, submit one image, 2,500 pixels on the long edge JPEG, and it should be from this year. That's the only parameters. It's a photo contest. So this office hours, we'll go through, we'll look at the best images submitted. Don't know if we can get to them all. It depends on how many are submitted, but we'll announce the winners as well as going through some awesome images and talking about as many as we can in that hour. So submit your questions that you might have. We will take a few questions too, if we have time, and your image at hudsonhenry.com/office hours. That's up, and you can look through the gallery as you submit. The gallery will be updated relatively frequently. Okay, so let's jump in. Number one thing, simple $17 item, the stone bag. You see it on the tripod that I've got here. You see it on the holiday tripod I have here, my big tall fluid head setup. I had a new one built this year. I perennially put this on the gift guide. I mean, when you're out in high winds, when you're out in rough conditions, placing a stone in one of these stone bags and making your tripod just rooted rock solid to the ground is going to get you stable images in conditions where no one else can shoot. It also is just really handy if you want to throw an external battery you're powering your camera off, or your holiday light batteries just up in there, or some filters, what have you. And I had, since I have a little cred with Leofoto, I had them make one for me that has a nice little hook on the bottom, so you can still easily hang your camera bag or something off the bottom. If you like to hang something off your tripod, you still get to hang it off the stone bag. It's kind of a win-win, win-win. I have tons of people who watch me work with the Nikon Z cameras, ask me where to get this custom eyecup. Also ask me, why is my viewfinder or my LCD screen not coming on depending on my settings? Well, you pop these stock viewfinder off, it just lifts up, and you can put this custom one on. I've got a link to it in the description. It's like $13, and it's a nice eyecup that rotates if you're left-eyed or right-eyed, blocks out extraneous light. I just love the thing, and you can pop it off. I always keep a couple spares in case I were to lose one. If I'm in really rough conditions, sometimes I put a little piece of gaff tape across to make sure I don't lose it. And popping it off and cleaning the little sensor that's up above your viewfinder will keep that automatic switch working between your LCD and your viewfinder at all times. All right, some cleaning stuff that I just think everyone should have in their kit. Residual Oil Remover. This is an awesome, awesome product that just takes fingerprints, grease, sunscreen, whatever might be on your optics off if the blower isn't going to work, and if a microfiber cloth isn't going to get the schmear off of your glass. this residual oil remover is the safest thing I've used. Blow your lens off with a rocket blower. That's also listed here as one of the things you need to have. Try to knock it off with a nice clean microfiber. I love these magic fiber cloths. I've got those listed too, but if you can't get it off, a magic fiber cloth and some residual oil remover, once you've blown any particulate stuff off there and knocked it off with a brush, will get that oil off your lens and leave it nice and clean. You can get a 3-pack of that for 20 bucks. You can get these cloths for as little as $6 or as much as you want if you want to buy them in bulk. These really good rocket blowers are about $19. You know, I have tested out a bunch of the ones that have sort of a filter, and they're either invariably way too expensive, and I've never had a problem with not having a filter, blowing my sensor off and lenses off, or they don't move enough air. I actually waited to do this video until I got a new one that VSCO makes that I thought, ooh, that'd be cool. I got it, it was tiny, and it wouldn't make a dent in the palm of my hand when I blew it. My rocket blower knocks things off of filters. It's easier to aim. The rocket blower is just a great tool. If you don't have one, I keep one in my studio. I keep another one in my camera bag. I've always got it handy. All right, another really cool thing when you're running around with your tripod are these TFS spikes Leofoto's making. They're innovative. You put these on your tripod and they work great in sand and surf and shifting sand to root your tripod. Even if the waves are rolling through, you get it nice and rooted in that wet sand and it just stays still as the waves roll around you. But then you throw this on it before you put it on your bag, these little caps on the end, and it won't poke your skin or knock a hole in a nice fine softwood floor. It's really, really nice. Make sure you screw those on nice and tight. They're gasketed. They're about, what are they? 55 bucks for all 3 of them. Cheaper than a lot of other brands, long spikes that don't have the removable caps. They also are making these really nice claws that you can put on your tripod. Both of these are stainless steel. These are actual examples I've been carrying around for the last, well, make sure you don't lose the cap. I'll pick that up in a minute. That's one thing. Keep a tight hold on those things. But you can see I've been using this in salt water for 2 years now, and it still looks brand new. Same thing with these rock claws. They're awesome in granite, rocky conditions, or mountain streams that are slippery with moss. It just roots your tripod to rock surfaces. So those are awesome. The rock claws are 46 bucks for a set of 3. The TFS spikes with the caps are 55 bucks for a set of 3. All right, so one thing I really recommend to people wanting to improve their photography is photography books. You know, I came up reading Galen Rowell, looking through Art Wolf's images and reading his notes about creating his images, looking at photographers like Arnold Newman, looking through books like Magnum's Contact Sheets. I've listed that as one of the books that I loved in a previous Christmas or holiday gift guide. I've got 2 books here. Probably a lot of you who've been in the office hours sessions or watching my videos know that I'm a big fan of Ben Long, and he's a friend. He's a great guy. He does a lot of lynda.com training. He's an amazing photo educator. He and Rick LePage, one of my best friends on the planet, Rick edited this book of short essays about practicing your photography. It's not full of images, it's full of thoughts about photography. And you can literally pick it up, throw your finger in it, and read a short essay that'll be enlightening. It'll help you with your photographic practice. It's just a great book to pick an essay from and read through. So I'm putting a link to that, and that's available both on Kindle or as the paperback book. I really love the paperback book. The other one that I've really been enjoying, and Rick, again, turned me on to this book, is Richard Misrach on landscape and meaning. He's been photographing for years and years and years, a very accomplished, highly thought of photographer. And he's talking about landscape, and he talks a lot about his process, his coming up as a photographer, his family background, taking images that have meaning in a broader societal context, and how to really think about your photography as part of a greater artistic endeavor. And again, it's kind of short essays. It's a really nice book to just pick up. in the middle of the day, you feel like escaping from whatever is going on and fueling your photographic passion. This is a really nice book on landscape and meaning, and I thank Rick for pointing it out to me. I've really, really been enjoying it. All right, so one of the things that's really cool in photography right now is the ability to power our cameras and our accessories on, high-end, fast deploying USB-C power banks. This is power delivery is the term, PD. They're marked PD. I have recommended power banks in the past. For the last year, I've been recommending these newer PD-capable power banks. This one, believe it or not, is 10,000 milliamps. You've got like 2.5 camera batteries, maybe even more than that. This thing will work me all the way through a Milky Way shoot at night, and my camera battery still looks brand new in my Z6 II or my Z7 II. Most of the latest, best cameras from the big brands are running off power delivery. If you have a little battery bank like this, you can just plug it into the USB-C port on your camera, and boom, your camera is powering. Probably it's charging its battery, running off its battery, but keeping everything topped off so you don't run out of battery at all. You don't need to turn your camera off. You don't need to worry about conserving LCD. These things are awesome. I keep it with me on the plane to keep my phone charged in case I don't have a plug-in on the plane. I keep it with me in my camera bag to keep my camera running all through the night. I can charge the battery in my camera just by plugging this little guy into it and plugging the USB-C port into my camera, and it all fits in this nice little bag that it comes with. Anker is my favorite brand for these. I'm putting a link to it. They're like 50 bucks. It comes with a nice USB-C cable, which it charges through and charges the camera. And believe it or not, this thing will do power delivery to your camera and at the same time charge another device, or run, say, a lens warmer doing Milky Way photography, or charge your Move Shoot Move star tracker and keep it powered while you're working. It's got 2 ports, a USB-A and a USB-C. Great little tool. Lumecube's panel lights. I had a question, actually ran in office hours today, just sort of an open forum on all things photographic. And I had a question about, how often do I use strobes anymore? I only really use strobes if I need to freeze action for some reason, or, differentiate my exposure from the background and generate a lot of power in an instant. There's the only real reason for strobes anymore to me is being able to just send that light out in a thousandth of a second, boom, and freeze what I'm sending the light into. For all the other times, I tend to use these Lumecube, these little LED panel lights. They're very, very soft light. You can adjust the color temperature from warm to cool. Right now I'm running this in a relatively warm color temperature at 50% power. The batteries last a really long time and they stay charged. I just pulled this out of my bag after not charging it for several months and it's at 100%. I've been using my big Lumecube Panel Pro more lately. I use these things, when I'm, say, on a Zoom call and I want to light myself in front of my computer. I use them to do some light painting in the landscape, say doing Milky Way stuff. Right now, this one's, I think, sitting at about 66%. You can see I can turn it way, way down. I can control this big Pro panel via Bluetooth from my phone. I can control its color temperature. As you can see right now, it's really warm. I can make it daylight balanced and really cool. It's got all kinds of fun stuff that you can control right from your phone. And they're just a great company. I love working with those guys. The mini panel is super handy in all kinds of situations where you just want to throw a little lick of lighting. You can even mount it right to the hot shoe of your camera through a cold shoe adapter that it has and just light your subject, whether you're doing videos or stills. The little one is like $60. The big one is like $160, but again, it's Bluetooth controllable and much more powerful. You can also pop these diffusers off and get a little bit harsher, even more brightness. LEDs are nice and soft by their very nature. You rarely need to modify them to get a good looking light. And if you're really interested in the Lumecube stuff, I'm going to be running a little promo. Keep an eye on the YouTube channel. That's coming soon. There's going to be a little giveaway, so just a heads up on that. Keep an eye peeled. CF Express B, Compact Flash Express B. So the Nikon cameras use that. The top-end Sony video cameras use that. Why is it? These larger XQD style cards. They have dual channels. They're faster than the XQD cards were. They go up to 1500 megabytes per second write speed and 1700 megabytes per second read speed. That's blazing fast. The fastest compact flash express A cards are half that speed, which Sony's using in their A7 IV and the A1 camera. Nikon went with the fastest thing out there. It's going to enable more video specs. It's going to enable faster burst rates. It's just a great card. And one of the things that I love about it is you shoot, 300 gigabytes of photos. Say you're out shooting wildlife and sports. You come home and you stick it into the CF Express B reader, and it just transfers in like 10 seconds. You don't wait minutes for your files to transfer into your computer. As long as you've got a fast, USB 3.2 or Thunderbolt 3 or 4 connection, it goes really, really fast. And my favorite brand for this stuff is ProGrade. ProGrade's a company that was created by a bunch of people from other companies you know the names of, like Lexar and SanDisk. They started their own gig. Their cards are really high quality. They're a bit more affordable than everyone else's. And I have had zero problems with their reader or their cards. So their reader is like, gosh, what is it? I like the reader that has the SD reader as well as the CF Express B reader. The reader's like $80. The cards vary. I actually just ordered a 1 terabyte CF Express B card for the Z9 that's coming, so I can just shoot away at that fast frame rate. I think it was like $750. It's not a cheap card, but they make them in various sizes, all the way down to 64 gigabyte. I'm going to put a link to just those cards on B&H, as well as a link to that reader. I think they're great cards, and they're certainly fast enough. There's nothing that Sony's making so far in the still camera department that comes anywhere close, because they're not using CF Express B. So these cards, 1500 megabytes per second write speed, that's fast. All right, tripods. So kind of exciting news. A lot of people have actually even heard of me because of my fluid head video that I put out on YouTube years ago. And I'm still using fluid heads and pan and tilt heads. I think probably a lot of people know the story that I was looking for an ultralight solution, and I talked to the Leofoto distributor of the United States. They told me this company is doing amazing, innovative new things. They're building an ultralight tripod with a built-in leveling adapter that has 15 degrees of adjustment in any direction. It weighs less than 3 pounds, and it gets to eye level. And I was skeptical, to say the least. I had them send me one, and I fell in love with the thing. And then I talked to them and said, what I'm missing is a really high quality tripod that gets up to like 80 inches tall and is less than 4 pounds. And they made it for me. I love it. The distributor wanted one. I think my voice kind of tipped it over. And so I have this 324 CL, I have the 284 CEX, and I've actually worked out a deal with those guys. I love their tripods so much. I think they're higher quality than what Gitzo's putting out right now. They're half the price. And nobody else is making anything besides Gitzo and Leofoto that's either as innovative as having this kind of built-in leveling adapter right in the tripod, or as tall and as light as this set of legs. A lot of people wonder, well, why do you need such a tall set of legs? Well, think about being on a steep hillside. You got to throw one leg all the way out to even get to eye level and stay where you want to be to photograph. Or maybe you need to shoot over a hedgerow, and there's this neat thing you could stand. You can grab a chair and stand up on it, but your tripod's not tall enough. So this solves a whole bunch of problems for me in my photography, and I love it. So one of the cool new announcements that I'm coming out with right now is if you run over to hudsonhenry.com/tripods, or you go into my tripods section, you'll see that I'm selling the bare set of legs for the 284 CEX. I'm selling the bare set of legs for the 324 CL, my two favorite tripods. And I'm also selling complete custom built kits built by me with every accessory that you could imagine. I've got videos about both of them, all the accessories I use, from the spikes and rock claws to the no parallax slider and heads and leveling adapters, the whole shebang greased with the stone bag on it in its case, ready to go. You just are going to get the case with everything inside of it for either one. This tripod weighs 4.2 pounds completely built. This one weighs 6.9 pounds completely built. Everybody who picks up one of these on the workshop is always blown away. It comes in this nice bag that everything fits inside. So check it out, hudsonhenry.com/tripods. They're not cheap, I wouldn't say, but they're certainly more affordable than other tripods that come anywhere close, and I think more innovative and higher quality in general. So the next thing is this really cool monitor light that I just absolutely adore. I put it in a video recently. It's my BenQ monitor light. It shines down on my desk without touching the screen. It's this narrow band of light. Just lights my work area when I'm editing photos, so I can keep the lights down, still see what I'm doing on my desktop, and not have it affect my screen whatsoever. I did a video recently on YouTube. I absolutely love the thing, and it's not that bad. It's like 139 bucks. I really think it's one of the nicest things that I've purchased for my digital darkroom in quite a long time. I convinced Rick to get one. Rick LePage, my good friend, and he's just raving about it on the phone today. He loves his too. All right, so Unleashed. Unleashed is a little product by Foolography that is a tiny, tiny little Bluetooth camera controller. It has an amazing app that this thing connects into. It plugs into the power port on your camera and whatever control port your camera has. You have to buy the right one for your system. And I've been using it for a few years. I absolutely love it. You plug into the app. It's just a tiny little thing. When you get the box, you're going to think nothing's inside it. It's just literally this little tiny thing. I keep it inside my L bracket on my camera all the time unless I'm in real horrible weather and I want the port sealed. And so Foolography, the app allows you to do really complex intervalometer stuff like day to night transition, auto bulb ramping, changing the exposure as you go from daylight to Milky Way. It allows you to do really long exposures, like up to 4.5 hours, and it also will calculate neutral density for you. Let's say you have a shutter speed that your camera is showing, and then you can go in the app and add 6 stops of neutral density, and it'll automatically change the shutter calculation for you and apply it, and automatically all you do is hit the button and go. It's a really, really cool system. This system came out in 2018. They've got a firmware update. If you haven't done it, you should. It really improves connectivity, makes it quicker, faster, less hassle, and also has more functionality like that neutral density calculation that's built in. And they're coming out with a new one for 2022 that's also going to be available for Sony, Panasonic, and Fuji. It used to be just Nikon and Canon. So they've got the code from the camera manufacturers, and they're able to do it for Sony, Fuji, and Panasonic. That's cool. They're a really cool company in Germany. The guy Oliver who runs it's really, really nice. And he's said to me, hey, give 3 of these away to your community. So that's what I'm doing with Office Hours on December 7th. You submit your favorite image of 2021. We'll pick 3 of our favorites. We'll give them a $75 gift certificate to anything that you want in my store, from tripods to filters to courses and content, workshops even, as well as a brand new Unleashed from Foolography. And you can either choose to get one right now, the 2018 version if you're a Canon or Nikon shooter, or you can get the 2022 version, which is right now on Kickstarter. I'm going to put a link to the Kickstarter too, because there's still a few available on Kickstarter at a lower price than you're going to be able to buy them for when they're fully launched. He's talking about them being $285. It's like 225 euros when they actually launch. Right now you can get one for like $171 on Kickstarter. I think there's a few of those pledges left. All right. Case filters. If you've been following me, you know I fell in love with case filters in the last year. I've completely switched to using their magnetic system. And I'm offering a lot of the stuff. There's a lot more information on my website at hudsonhenry.com/case. I'm actually selling these filters along with the tripods, and my favorite is the 112 millimeter standard. That I've got 6 of them in this little case here. People think 112 millimeters, it's huge. They're so thin, they're so easy to use, this magnetic system, that right here I've got a UV circular polarizer, neutral night, 3, 6, and 10 stop neutral density filters all right in this little case. They drop right into my HB97 Nikon hood, which mounts to the 14 to 24, 24 to 70, 70 to 200 2.8 lenses, the 50 1.2, as well as the 14 to 30 f4 lens, and I'll bet it'll be going on future lenses. I'm really hoping for the 100 to 400. If you want to use it with another lens, there are these magnetic adapter rings. This one goes down to 62 to use with, say, my 50 millimeter 1.8. You just thread that on the 50 millimeter 1.8, click, on it goes. For people that don't want to jump all the way into 112 millimeters, I'm offering 82 millimeter filters. I know a lot, they used to feel big to me. That used to be my standard, but now they feel tiny. And they're great. I would never recommend anybody buy expensive filters in anything smaller than 82 millimeters, because the next thing you know, the next lens that comes out for your brand that you'll love is 82 millimeters, and you have 77 millimeter filters. And to use it with your new lens, you got to sell all your filters at bargain bottom prices and buy all new filters again. That happened to me. That's my own experience. So, like right here, this is a stack cap set, just with 3 neutral density filters, 3, 6, and 10 stop, stacked between magnetic caps. You just put a magnetic ring on your 82 millimeter lens, or one of those adapters to 82 millimeters that's magnetic at the 82 millimeter end, and click, step it on there. I'm also offering their K9 system. I have a video I'll link, which is a hybrid system, magnetic circular polarizer and neutral night filter, alongside UV and 3, 6, and 10 stop straight neutral density that are 100 millimeter square ultra thin. You can also combine it with your older, thicker square slotted filters for those who like the square slotted filters. So run over to hudsonhenry.com/case, see what I'm talking about. There's a video there that talks about their use. I love the things. I could just never go back to using screw-on filters. It's just zero hassle, simplicity, ability to switch, ability to stack, no worry about vignetting, particularly the 112 millimeter system. That's my system. I adore it. And honestly, throwing these 2 things in my bag is just nothing. It's simple. You know, I can drop it in my stone bag while I'm working, click. All right, we're getting down to the bottom of it. So I want to talk really quick about GoPros, Hero 9 and Hero 10. These little cameras have absolutely blown me away. I have the 9. I know the 10 is even more. And I've just been blown away by how simple it is to use with a touchscreen interface compared to older GoPros. The fact that it's weather sealed and has this little mount just built into the body of it. The battery life, the way the batteries last when they're not being used. Just everything about it is simpler to use, and the visual image stabilization, whether you're doing hyperlapse, you know, hand holding, moving through the landscape. I did some stuff in the Palouse, just blew my mind. Or, you know, action and adventure. On our Moab workshop, I rode one of the most famous trails in the world, the whole enchilada, on my day off. I rented a bike, and riding through some of the roughest, most gnarly terrain, this thing just kept smooth and stable, and the exposure, just on auto exposure, coming in and out of shadows, really blew my mind. So if you're looking for a lightweight little travel video camera or something to just have fun with, this thing is just a barrel of laughs. I love it. And the Hero 9 is fantastic. You know, the 10 is even more so, but if you can find a good deal on the 9, I'm going to put a link to both of them in this video. They're about, you know, they're not that expensive. They're under $400 range, which is pretty darn incredible, or right around $400 for the newest and latest, depending on the kit that you get with it. All right, so this is a cool $300 box. Right, they're normally $350. It's on sale right now at Amazon for $300. It's a CalDigit Thunderbolt port, and it has a whole bunch of really fast Thunderbolt and USB 3.2 high-speed connections, as well as Ethernet, SD card, headphones, speakers, optical, audio, display port to run an external monitor. It brings power into it, sends power out to your computer. So let's say you have a laptop that only has one Thunderbolt USB-C port. I'm looking at some of you MacBook users. You plug this thing into the wall, you plug it into your computer. It's powering and charging your computer, and you can bring, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 fast high-speed USB ports, both A and C. Another Thunderbolt port so you don't lose any, as well as all these other connections into your computer just by plugging this thing in. When I take it on the road, when I go on the road doing workshops, I use this as my hub. I plug it into my computer. It works with Mac and PC, and then I plug everything into it. When I get home, I plug it into my desktop. You guys probably know I recommend keeping a lot of your critical files, whether it's your working files on the road or at home, on fast SSD drives like Samsung's T7 drives that I link in my ATS links. I like to keep my Lightroom catalog or my On1 cache files on one of those fast SSD drives. Plugging them into this, plugging this into your computer just frees everything up. It's simple, it's fast, it works great. So if you're looking for, and you can run an external monitor off it, you can just do all kinds of stuff. Plus it's that really fast SD reader if you're using SD cards still. All right. Finally, a couple of lenses for the Sony shooters. I know I mainly talk about Nikon stuff, but I've shot with Rick enough and Matt and some of my other Sony friends, DC, to know that there are some lenses I just love of theirs. I love their 12 to 24 2.8. I love Rick's 14 millimeter 1.8 prime. It's a fantastic lens, sharp edge to edge, works great at night, gives you that extra stop and a third light over what I have in my 14 to 24 2.8. I love the 14 to 24 2.8. Don't get me wrong, it's my favorite zoom lens I've ever used, the new S version. But the 14 prime is small, it's lightweight, it's ultra sharp, and it's a low light weapon for the wide angle, the ultra wide angle junkie. So I'm going to put a link to that lens. It's not cheap. If you're a Sony shooter and you want something that's an ultra light, low light weapon for wide angle for doing stars and Milky Way, but you don't want to spend as much as the 14, they have a real similar lens to Nikon's 20mm 1.8 S lens. It's also excellent. The 20mm 1.8 is also wonderful. So they have two really nice wide and ultra wide primes for the Sony mirrorless system that I highly recommend. So those are kind of fun. It's kind of fun to recommend something to the Sony folks. All right, everyone. So that's my gift guide for this year. You can forward it on to the loved ones in your life who might be buying things for you. You could use it for another photographer that you know. You could use it for yourself and treat yourself. I hope everyone has a really happy holidays. I want to put one more plug in for the office hours on December 7th. We'll be going through people's favorite images of 2021. I hope you submit your favorite image that you've taken in 2021. One image per submission, one image per participant, I should say. 2,500 pixels on the long edge JPEG. Title it with just your name. You can upload it at hudsonhenry.com/office hours and sign up to join us via Zoom or YouTube Live. And we'll go through as many of those images as we have time for. Take some of your questions. You could submit a question when you sign up. And also, we'll award our favorite 3 images, a brand new Unleashed. They can either get the brand new upcoming 2022 version that's on Kickstarter, linked in this video, or they can get the original, which works for Canon and Nikon. The new version is going to be Sony, Panasonic, and Fuji as well. Cool device, and we'll also throw in a $75 gift certificate to those 3 winners to anything in my store, from tripods and filters to workshops and courses. So. Again, I hope everyone's enjoying food, enjoying family, being safe, staying creative. I know that I can't wait to hang out with my fam and eat some really good food. So I hope you're getting the same, and we'll see you next week.